My channel to everyone who's new here, and of course to those of you who are back again, great to have you here. In this video we will take a look together at possible scenarios for the price development of Render, TAO, Kaspa and ONDO. Things remain exciting, so make sure to watch until the end. So let's just start with Render. So we have said about Render that once we break the bull flag to the upside, here was the breakout, but the retest failed. Afterwards we got the follow through. So right here we have seen a breakout and a retest. It was clear that we are going to get a bit more higher, but we have said at $4 there is a take profit. We broke it also to the upside, and we missed the target of $4.23 to $4.31 just by a few cents, by 3 cents. So basically I can take this one out. We went there, and I would still keep the target because this is still ongoing and didn't get invalidated yet. So we would invalidate that target if we break the $3.72 to the downside again. So this was the first sign of a breakout. If we get again lower than that and we take out the low here, or we get before a retest and afterwards push to the downside, then the target of the old inverted head and shoulders formatation is going to get invalidated. So I can take out the bull flag and I can make this one white. So in bright blue you can see that this also might be an inverted head and shoulders formatation. And it also looks okay to me, because if we take the length of the left shoulder and we put it to the right side, then you can see that with this low we got the exact length of the left shoulder. So if we break the $4.17 to the upside, then I take the length of one shoulder, put it to the breakout point, and everything over $4.52 is going to be my take profit, up to the fair value gap, which is also the target, $4.65. It might also be possible that we are going to get a lower low, which is going to be in the RSI and higher high. So we are going to form a bullish divergence. If this is going to happen, then we have to expect another low in the chart, which still doesn't mean that we are going to be bearish, because bullish divergence, we can break it afterwards to the upside and then push to the upside. So at the moment I still have to wait for the $4.17, but if I find some smaller chart patterns down below here, lower than $3.72, then I can try to open a long position far more earlier than the $4.17. So if we look into TAO, we have said about TAO that we should push once we break to the upside, the 388 US dollar. Then we should see the 415 US dollar. We went there here. And we have also said that I wanted to see some kind of bull flag or falling wedge, which also breaks to the upside afterwards, so I can increase my position size and go even into a long position if I don't have one. We just broke out right here, got the retest of the white trend line and got our follow through. Whoever saw that, okay, lucky, because we have said 430 US dollars is going to be the target of the inverted head and shoulders formatation. This one here, put that to the breakout point. We went into that target. in my opinion, as long as we hold the 388 US dollar, it is still possible that we can get a push up to $500, 495 US dollar. If we lose the $388, then I think we can get even a bigger pullback. And if we go into the 4-hour chart, 8-hour chart, yep. Okay, so in the 8-hour chart, you can also see a fair value gap, which reaches prices down to 317 US dollar to 325 US dollar. I don't want to say that we are going to get there, but if we break the 388 US dollar to the downside, then I think that this even might not be our low. But we have to see if we can track some chart patterns. So, back into the 1-hour chart. If we break the white trend line to the upside, which is currently the $400, then I would say we can fill the fair value gaps. 415 US dollar is going to be my first take profit, and afterwards take profits up to 431 US dollar for TAO again. Then we have to see if we push more to the upside, but I think that depends on if we get some bullish chart patterns afterwards, and we can trade them as well once we see them. So, Kaspa was very well predicted, in my opinion. We have said here we are in a panel. Broke to the upside. Target was the 9 cents. We didn't get there with the first push. Instead, we have formed another bull flag where we have said if we break it to the upside, then we should see the 9.2 cents for Kaspa. And with this, let me take out this and let me take out this. With this push, we went there perfectly. What I don't like is that we have formed a rectangle. This one here, this can be a double bottom pattern, but this can also be a double top pattern. So basically rectangle. And you already know it if you are longer on my channel. Rectangles get into their targets in both directions. So basically we can push to the downside. We can even push more to the downside, but in the future we should get into the other target of the rectangle. But the same also on the opposite way. We can break to the upside, get into the target of the rectangle, push even a bit more, and afterwards sell off into the other target of the rectangle. We have seen it very often with the other coins, so rectangles are unique chart patterns. Anyway, what can I trade? I have more strategies for Kaspa than for the other coins. So basically, if I want to wait for a breakout, then it's currently the 8 cents breaking to the downside or the 9.2 cents breaking to the upside. I also think if the 8.3 cents breaks to the downside, then we can get into the 8 cents. And you can already see it in the past that we got bounces at 8.3 cents. We got a bounce here. We got a bounce here. We were close to it, but got a bounce here. Here we were also close to it. We got a bounce here. And when we were up here in that box, we got rejected quite often. So let me draw you that with boxes. So it looks better. So everything which is in the area between 9.2 cents down to 8.9 cents can be shorted. So here I can open a short position with a stop loss over the 9.23 cents. And I would go down into the other box. Wrong one. So everything which is in the upper box I can short into the lower box, 8.4 cents to 8.2 cents. And here I can open a long position. So I can actually try to get those consolidations by shorting in the top, longing in the lower part with a stop loss lower than the 8 cents or over the 9.2 cents. This can be very profitable because you can already see it, how often we bounced between the purple boxes. And this can always be a 6% profitable trade. For sure, the stop loss, if that is not going to work, also hurts, -7%. Also hurts to the upside, but a bit less, 5%. But it is possible. I would try it out. Sometimes those kind of trades are the most profitable ones because we can long, short the whole day and the next days. And one time it's going to fail. Afterwards, we can even short again. So if we say we are here in the long position and we don't push to the upside into the other box, we sell off. Then we have one loser trade, which we can actually get profitable again by shorting afterwards for this push to the downside. So we have the second trade, which breaks to the upside or downside, which compensates the loser trade which we had by trying to trade this movement. Okay. We will move on to the more complicated part. ONDO. Very complicated. We have said about ONDO that we had two bearish chart patterns, double top pattern, and in dark blue the rising wedge. This one here. My personal thinking was that we are going to break to the downside and we are going to form a right shoulder for an inverted, here you can see it, head and shoulders formatation. This one didn't happen. We broke instead to the upside. That's why I can delete the targets of those patterns. We broke the yellow trend line to the upside. Target was 8.9 cents. Here's the circle. We also had another target, 87 cents and 89 cents. Those were our take profit. So I can take this one out. We also went into the take profit area from the old head and shoulders formatation, the inverted one. I can take this one out from the chart as well. So we didn't form the right shoulder perfectly. That's why this isn't an inverted head and shoulders formatation in yellow. I can take this one out from the chart as well. So we had such a complicated coin, ONDO, and it didn't do what I wanted it to be perfect. Anyway, I still want the 83.3 cents holding. If it breaks to the downside, then I think we should drop to 81.7 cents. And here we have to see, once we break to the downside, that we also get a higher low in the RSI. If yes, then it would be in bullish divergence, and then we can see if we can track a nice trend line which breaks to the upside, and then we can be long for ONDO. So if we break the price mark of 87 cents again, then I think we should get into the top area at 90 cents again, where we have a fair value gap here also. And I think those fair value gaps are going to get fished very fast once we break the 87 cents to the upside. And this can be a very fast day trade with profits up to 3% to 4.7%. Afterwards, we have to see, we have here a resistance block over us. So if we break the purple area to the upside, which is the area between 91 cents to 92.8 cents. So if the 92.8 cents breaks to the upside, and I will show you that with AVAX, what I mean with this. So if we push to the upside and get support afterwards, then I think we can go for the price mark of $1, even up to $1.02. I will show you that with AVAX. So with AVAX, we had a purple box, which was a resistance box. We pushed here to the upside. This was the breakout. This here was the retest. And afterwards the follow through. And I want to see the same thing for ONDO, just on a bit bigger time frame. So if we break here to the upside, I want to see afterwards a retest. And then I can think about prices getting kind of fast into the $1 for ONDO. So if the 81.7 cents breaks to the downside, then we might have something different in play. But as long as we hold the 76.5 cents, everything is going to be good. If we lose the 76.5 cents, yep, this can be the start of the bear market for ONDO. Why that? Because someone did a comment, and I think it was very nice from you. You have said that you connected all the lows with each other since March 2024. So I have here a trend line with 6 touch points, not even more. One here as resistance, one here as support, the second one here as support. So 3 support, 4, 5, 6, 7, even 7 touch points for support and 1 touch point as resistance. So if that yellow trend line breaks to the downside, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. It might also be possible that we get a push to the upside, forming the right shoulder, and afterwards sell off into the bear market. So this is very speculative in my opinion, but we have to find more chart patterns on the smaller time frame predicting the price movement. So I think getting back into the $1 is very realistic. If we break it to the upside, then we have to see where we are going to go, and we will find it out once we break to the upside and once we get bullish chart patterns. So with that said, I want to say that we have to be a bit more patient for tracking bigger price movements for ONDO, but looking into short-term price predictions, it can predict the future very good, because we have a half bearish pattern there with the left shoulder and with the head on the bigger time frame. We don't know if we are still going to develop the right shoulder. That is what we are going to find out if we find other chart patterns on the smaller time frame, or if we already find on the smaller time frames, for example now, let's just imagine this is the left shoulder, this is the head, and this is the right shoulder, and we are going to break to the downside. Then we already know here that we are going most likely to break this trend line also to the downside. So that's why I think short-term analysis are far more valuable than long-term analysis. We can predict long-term movement far more better with short-term movement, in my opinion. So we see each other tomorrow.